Okay, students, so we shall discuss melting point, our first experiment, determination of melting point of an organic compound. What is melting point? The process in which a solid changes to liquid, that is known as melting, and the temperature at which solid changes to liquid, that is known as melting point. Now, melting point is an intensive property. What is intensive property? The property which does not depend on the quantity of substance. For example, if we have water here, I take water, suppose it is 20 ml. And in second beaker, I take water, suppose it is 70 ml. Now, what is the boiling point of this water? It is 100 degrees centigrade. And what should be the boiling point of this water? It is also 100 degrees Celsius. Now, here quantity is smaller, here quantity is larger than this one, but value remains the same. So the property which does not depend on the quantity of substance, that is known as intensive property, and boiling point is an intensive property. Similarly, melting point is an intensive property. So here we have melting point, boiling point, density, temperature. These are intensive properties. Why we are performing this experiment? There are two advantages of this melting point. What are those? Number one, melting point helps us to identify the unknown sample. So identification of an unknown sample. So how? If I give you NaCl and I ask you which compound is this? So first we will find its melting point. If its melting point is 801 degrees Celsius, if the melting point of this compound is 801 degrees Celsius, then we will find this one in database, this temperature. So we will find which compound has 801 degrees Celsius melting point. That will be NaCl. Similarly, we can use this for any compound. Okay. Now, second advantage is to find the impurity in the sample. If a sample is pure, it has a sharp melting point. Dear students, we measured this temperature in 3 scales. What are those scales? Celsius, Fahrenheit, and Kelvin. These scales are interconvertible. We can change Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius, or we can change Celsius to Kelvin or Kelvin to Celsius. How can we change? If we have temperature in Fahrenheit, we can change into Celsius, or if we have temperature in Celsius, we can change into Fahrenheit. How? 1.8 multiplied by temperature in Celsius scale plus 32. This is a formula to convert Celsius degree temperature to Fahrenheit. Okay, if we have temperature in Fahrenheit, how can we change degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit? Temperature in Fahrenheit scale minus 32 divided by 1.8. And similarly, we can change Kelvin to Celsius. Temperature in Kelvin minus 273.15. So this is our today's discussion. Just watch another video. Your question at the end of this experiment. Okay, friends, how to perform our experiment? Here is the apparatus shown, and just watch the video. And we heat this beaker containing water and also containing our sample along with this thermometer. So what happens when we heat it? Here is stirrer. We shall stir this water periodically. So what will happen when its temperature will rise? This solid will change to liquid. When this solid starts changing to liquid, that is T1. And when all the solid will be converted to liquid, that is T2. Then what we will do, we will take the average of T1 and T2. How? T1 plus T2 divided by 2. We will write our values here in this table. And in this experiment, we will perform to find melting point of naphthalene. So whatever you answer, just write and complete this table. And after that, complete your questions.